So I've laid out my plan for this Y2K VIP build. And while I'm waiting for all these parts to come in, get everything set up for install, I wanted to get some stuff going. So what better to start with than VIP tables? So there's a lot of guys and shops out there doing some really quality VIP tables. But keeping this to strict 90s Y2K build, I wanted to go with a brand that really screams 90s. And of course, because we're doing father-daughter JDM builds, what better to use than Garson DAD, or DAD. So Garson doesn't make any items for the W210 platform. Even though this is a Japanese car, it is a Mercedes, which isn't necessarily the most common in Japan for VIP builds or Bippu builds. So I knew I was going to have to do something custom, but still wanted to keep it Garson. So what did I do? I got on Kruber and bought every Garson tray table I could find. So the reason for this is a couple-fold. One, I wanted to reuse the Garson hardware. All the cup holder pieces, the bezels, wanted to kind of reuse all that so that I could have it as a Garson look, but customized to my W210. The other reason why I bought all these different ones and not just enough to get that hardware off of is because I knew I was going to have to do something custom for the W210. But I wanted to keep the design philosophy that follows the Garson brand. So I wanted to emulate all of their geometry, their radiuses, how they lay things out. So to do that, I really needed to pull in as many examples as I could so that I could start laying out templates that I can apply to the Mercedes EClass. So after looking everything over and kind of dry fitting it into the car, I think what I'm going to do is use this one as a template for the front passenger section. This one for the rear behind the seat tables. And this is, I'm going to kind of use this one as a template for the center console section in the rear, but it will obviously get much different than that. So my plan is to just keep the glove box out. That way it just doesn't add any unnecessary complications of breaking something. I want this to be able to be returned to stock at any given time. So I completely removed the glove box. And now I'm going to just start working this template down so that it fits in there. But overall, I think that's pretty good. I'm just going to have to make some size adjustments.
Okay, I am now starting over for the third time. Each time I start adjusting it to get the perfect fit in the compartment, it just starts losing the design elements, and I just haven't been perfectly happy with it. So I'm going to try a little bit different of a way instead of overthinking this. I'm going to do a complete trace, adjust it, then I'm going to put it into Adobe Illustrator and try to preserve all of the elements and do a laser cut. after multiple renditions of foam templates, measuring, putting everything into CAD, I wanted to get everything captured into the computer so that I could replicate this if I ever needed to. So that took a little extra time. I went ahead and was able to laser cut some templates that I'm pretty happy with. So looking at the original Garson tray, so again I took this apart. So this was built for a right-hand drive car. It had a riser here for bottles, glasses, and then a tray here. So what I did is obviously mirrored it. Then I had to adjust all this to fit in the Mercedes EClass there. And what I came up with is this. So pretty close to the original design, just of course made to fit my car. From there, how this is going to work is, again, much like how the original Garson was built. So there's going to be a bottom tray. These holes are cut out to run bolts into the factory bolting hardware for the glove compartment. Then there will be a riser. Then this tray will sit there, and then you'll have the chrome posts. Let's just pretend that that's there. And then that'll sit like that. Everything will nest right inside the glove compartment space. I'm going to use this space down here to run a streaming audio input. That way I can keep all of the console stock and still get, streaming music. So I'll just tuck that in there. Overall, I'm real happy with it. So the next part is to get this routed out into 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch plywood and see how everything fits so I can take measurements for the uprights. So I did attempt just to see if the 1/2 inch plywood could run through my Glowforge. It cannot. Even with multiple passes, it didn't quite work. So it burned in the pattern real nice and got, I'd say, about 1/2 to 3/4 of the way through. Then I thought, okay, let me just try some other methods of cutting this out. I tried hitting it with the jigsaw, and actually with the score line from the laser, it cut real nicely and easily. But I'm thinking for the fastest, easiest way to replicate layers, because on top of this I'm going to probably put acrylic or some other material, the router is definitely the way to go. So I don't have any template tape to glue down the template to the cutting piece. So I'm going to try out just using a little bit of hot glue. I'm thinking that should be pretty easy to just pop it off and I can just sand it. So I'll just do a little bit there, get that lined up. Maybe a little bit over here. A little bit there. I'm not too worried. This is all a bit of trial and error. I don't expect that this will be the piece I use. I think I'll probably have another iteration of design change as soon as I fit everything together. So, yeah. So, as I figured, this wasn't going to be my final piece here. This was just taking it through the process, seeing what worked, what didn't, just a learning experience here. So, what I found was using hot glue to glue down my template
Not a good idea. It pulls apart the wood. It's a little too strong. So I definitely need to go get mounting tape for when I'm doing the routed mount. So that's part one. Also, part two ran into an issue where my templates are made out of wood, and the router bit was getting so hot that the guide actually burned through the template, which of course then transferred onto the cut. So that's a problem. So I'm going to look to see, if they have any other guides. Excuse me. This routing, I hate using a router because of all the dust, but I'm going to see if they have any other router bits with a guide that'll run cooler. I'm probably going to make the template out of acrylic versus wood here, so that should help that out. But here's what I came out with. So we have original template for the top piece versus here's the original. And then here's the router cut. There's that. Then the base template. And then the router cut. And then the top, which should actually be like this. Then the template. And the router cut. So now I'm just going to do a mock assembly just to see how everything goes together. Make the uprights, and then once I get that perfected, I'm going to go back, redo all the templates, recut all the pieces, and that'll be my final, hopefully. So I went ahead and put some stronger speed clips in here so that I can fasten this base. It's just a little bit stronger of an attachment. Let's see how that works. So hopefully these line up. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, as I'm finalizing my template here, here's a few things. One, I don't want this rounded edge back here. I just want it to go straight back. Okay, this fits pretty good. I think I want this whole tray to come out just a little bit. Or go in just a little bit, rather. So I need to just take some off there and take some off here. And this line should match up with this line. So I need to measure back. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. I think this fits in well. It follows the original Garson design geometry, so I think it'll fit in. It'll look like it came from Garson, which I'm really happy about. After working with the template and different varieties of wood and looking into epoxy, etc., I think what I'm going to do is make this out of acrylic. I think it'll be easier, it'll look real nice, and maybe that's a temporary fix until I do something else.